In 2017, the last human being who was born in the 1800s died. Her name was Emma Morano. She was 117 years old. She remembered the 19th century. She remembered both world wars from beginning to end. She remembered a world with no cars, no planes, no antibiotics, no television. And when she died, every memory she carried of that vanished world died with her, forever.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're exploring something that is, honestly, deeply moving and just truly mind-expanding. We're looking at the humans who have lived the longest in verified history. We're talking about supercentenarians. These are individuals who survived to the age of 110 and beyond. You know, they're essentially living time machines. Their biological resilience allows them to bridge 3 entirely different centuries. And what their lifespans reveal to us about time, memory, and survival, well, it's just staggering.
Section 1. Witnesses to a Vanished World. These people are our living time machines.
To really grasp the gravity of these lifespans, demographers use meticulous validation to verify their ages. That transforms what would otherwise just be, abstract historical timelines into undisputed living chronicles. When we look at 3 of the most documented supercentenarians out there, Jean Calment from France, Emma Morano from Italy, and Ethel Caterham from the UK, we see some pretty wild contrasts in how they lived. I mean, look at their diets and lifestyles. We have Jean, who ate about a kilo of chocolate a week and smoked until she was 117. Then we have Emma, who ate raw eggs every single day. Their daily habits were vastly different, and honestly, sometimes completely counterintuitive to modern health advice. Yet, they all survived world-altering historical events. They are the ultimate survivors.
Which brings us back to Emma Morano. Beyond that famous diet of raw eggs we just mentioned, her longevity story is really defined by this incredible personal resilience. Back in 1937, she faced the unimaginable, tragic loss of her only child at just 6 months old. And following that devastation, in 1938, she made the profoundly brave decision to escape an abusive marriage, a marriage her husband had literally blackmailed her into by threatening her life. Despite the massive cultural and legal obstacles of living in fascist-era Italy, she chose to live independently, and she remained single for the next 79 years. Now, on the flip side, we see a completely different path with Jean Calment of France. Jean lived a life of relative affluence and leisure. Her husband was a wealthy store owner, so she had the time to pursue hobbies like tennis, cycling, and playing the piano. Get this, she actually took up fencing at age 85. And incredibly, when she was a teenager, she met a young Vincent van Gogh in her family's store. She later remembered him as being dirty and disagreeable. As her quote highlights, she proudly and maybe a little bit haughtily claimed, "I have never been ill. Never, never." She lived to the astonishing age of 122. The sheer scale of these lives stretches into what feels like deep time. Consider Ethel Caterham. She was born in 1909, literally the dawn of commercial aviation, the exact same year someone first flew a plane across the English Channel. She lived through the peak of the British Empire, traveling to British India in 1927. And incredibly, in 2020, at the age of 110, she contracted and successfully survived the COVID-19 pandemic. Her personal timeline stretches all the way from horse-drawn carriages to a modern global pandemic. It's just breathtaking. Section 2. The microscopic shield. Let's look inside their cellular fortress.
So, you might be wondering, how do they actually do it? Is it just blind luck? Well, geroscience reveals that they possess this incredible internal cellular fortress. You see, as normal bodies age, including yours and mine, they undergo something called inflammaging. It's a chronic, systemic inflammatory state that drives tissue decay, frailty, and eventually organ failure. Now, supercentenarians do experience this inflammation, sure, but they possess an extraordinary biological ability to neutralize it. They actively balance out those inflammatory markers with super high levels of an anti-inflammatory cytokine called IL-10. So they essentially put out the fire before it can burn down the house.
A huge part of this defense system actually lives right in the gut. While a standard 80-year-old gut often suffers from dysbiosis, which is a loss of microbial diversity that creates a leaky gut and just lets inflammation run wild, the supercentenarian gut is a completely different story. It is a highly diverse, remarkably stable ecosystem. It's uniquely enriched with specific bacteria, notably a family called Odorobacteriaceae. Their microbiome isn't just sitting there, it's actively repelling decay.
And here is exactly what those unique gut bacteria are doing. They produce a specific secondary bile acid known as isoallo-LCA.
Think of these molecules as microscopic guided missiles. They actively hunt down and destroy dangerous, drug-resistant pathogens, like C. difficile, which is a bacteria that causes severe and sometimes fatal gut inflammation in the elderly. So this is basically a targeted, built-in antimicrobial weapon that's keeping them alive.
Beyond the gut, we have to talk about the genetic lottery. The FOXO3 gene is one of only 2 genetic markers that are consistently linked to extreme human longevity worldwide. Specifically, surviving past 100 is strongly tied to carrying a rare, protective, minor G allele of this gene. It essentially acts as a genetic master switch for survival.
Let's break down exactly how this master switch works biologically, because it's fascinating. Step 1, the cell experiences stress. Step 2, a protein called HSF1 binds to this specific genetic locus. Step 3, and honestly, this is the amazing part, it facilitates physical chromatin looping. It literally bends the DNA like a molecular light switch. In step 4, this turns on a massive cellular defense program. It triggers DNA repair, clears out toxic proteins, and neutralizes oxidative stress. It's a highly coordinated cellular recycling and defense mechanism.
But this genetic lottery also reveals a profound demographic reality. There is a massive sex gap here. Up to 90% of supercentenarians who survive past age 105 are female. The evolutionary and genetic survival advantages skew heavily toward women. And because of this, the very few men who actually do reach this age are considered elite. They're highly selected genetic escapers who have somehow completely avoided major age-related diseases.
Section 3. When living memory fades. The human element.
But you know, biology is only part of the story. Researchers studying these superagers have found that their brains actually lose volume twice as slowly as average people. But beyond physical brain structure, they are bolstered by this distinct emotional resilience and really warm, trusting social connections. I think this is perfectly captured by Ethel Caterham. When someone asked her about her philosophy for living such a long life, she said, "Take everything in my stride, the highs and the lows. Say yes to every opportunity." I mean, really think about the immense personal loss someone experiences living to 115 or 117. They outlive their friends, their spouses, and often even their own children. Yet, they manage to navigate these sweeping historical changes and deeply personal tragedies with a profound emotional adaptability. Which brings us to a somewhat haunting reality. These individuals are our living bridges to the past. Just as Emma Morano took the living memory of the 1800s with her, the clock is ticking on the next century. It leaves us with this elegant, painful question to ponder. When the last supercentenarian dies, what memories of the 20th century die with them forever?